Welcome back, Pokemon fans. My name is Angel of the Night 091, and we've got a battle here versus Hugo in Pokemon Sword and Shield for the 2020 International Challenge for February. Please note this battle took place between February 28th and March 1st of 2020, so my thought process may not be 100% on what I was thinking during the battle, so please keep that in mind. Looks like our opponent here is going to start off here with a Tyranitar and a Rotom Heat. I'm going to lead off here with my Como and my Mimikyu. Now, with every Tyranitar that's onto the field, of course, it's going to set up a Sandstorm. Now, Sandstorm is onto the field. Of course, it's going to do a little bit of chip damage to every Pokemon every turn that is capable of getting hit by it. So, for example, Ground, Steel, Rock, not going to be affected by it. Okay, so we've locked in our attacks here. Just going to wait for our opponent to choose their moves. They've got 30 to 60 seconds to choose their attacks, so please keep that in mind. Alright, so beginning off the battle here, the Tyranitar is going to go for the Protect, of course, protecting itself from any kind of damaging moves. Our Mimikyu is going to go for the Swords Dance, boosting our attack stat. The Como has decided to go in for the Aura Sphere, of course, not doing any damage to that Tyranitar that's protecting. And here it is, guys, the Will-O-Wisp from the Rotom Heat. Now, with that making contact onto the Como, my Como's attack stat is going to drop. Now, with the fact that I have Aura Sphere, that is leading me to believe that my Como is more of a special attacker versus a physical attacker here. The leftovers, of course, coming into play. We're getting a little bit of health there to the Rotom, as well as the Burn, doing some damage to the Como. The Mimikyu, with the attack stat boosted, we are going to go in for the Play Rough into the Tyranitar. And as well, Como is locked in because of its item. We're going to go in again for the Aura Sphere here with the Tyranitar. So Tyranitar, of course, being recalled, fearing the worst. Incoming a Gastrodon. Now Gastrodon, it looks like it is the East form. Getting hit by that Play Rough, just going to one-hit knock out that thing. Mimikyu just pulling things out of the gate right away. getting the plays out there. One hit knocking out that thing. Aura Sphere, of course, going into the Rotom, taking it down to roughly about half the hit points. And then, of course, Rotom Heat also going to go in and Will-O-Wisp the Mimikyu. So Mimikyu as well as our Como both have burns. Of course, the burn not really going to do anything to our Como stat-wise. However, with the Swords Dance that we were able to pull off with the Mimikyu at the beginning of the battle, it is now going to drop back down into the regular stat category. So both Pokemon being affected by the burn, all Pokemon being affected by the Sandstorm, and now we await our opponent's decision on what Pokemon is going to come out onto the field next. Now, this is a worst case scenario here, Excadrill. As you guys know, this Pokemon is able to boost its speed in sand. So that is going to be kind of an issue here for us. Mimikyu, of course, not having any real option to do damage off onto that Excadrill. I'm going to go for the Shadow Claw into the Rotom Heat, while I'm going to go for the Aura Sphere with the Como into the Excadrill. Now, during this time, Dynamaxing an Excadrill in sand was all the rave. This is a very common play during this date range, so please keep that in mind. So in comes Excadrill as a Dynamax Pokemon in sand with a bunch of boosts and stats. So this is not looking good for us here, guys. The Max Steel Spike coming from the Excadrill into the Como. Luckily, I'm actually able to survive by 9 hit points. That is, however, going to raise the defense stat on the Excadrill as well as the Rotom Heat. In comes the Shadow Claw, going to make contact with that Rotom, taking it right down into a critical category, and as well, with the sand and all, that should be able to take out that Rotom Heat, no problem. The Aura Sphere, of course, making contact with the Excadrill, not able to take it out, however. Rotom Heat retaliating and busting that disguise on that Mimikyu. So Rotom, of course, with that Volt Switch, goes right back into Hugo's party. The option now is to bring back out Tyranitar. With the Mimikyu's disguise busted, that could pose as a bit of a problem here. especially if Excadrill decides to attack first. Sandstorm, of course, doing some damage to these Pokemon. Able to knock out the Como here. That's okay, you know, Como did some serious work. Rotom, of course, was saved from the Sandstorm. And then, you know what, we're going to go in with our Gastrodon here. Now, Gastrodon does have some type advantages to the Tyranitar as well as the Excadrill. So this is a pretty good play there for me. I'm going to go for the Shadow Sneak here. Looks like I'm going to do it to the Excadrill. And then I'm going to Dynamax our Gastrodon, going for the Max Geyser. I'm actually going to go right in, I think, and attack that Excadrill as well. Because really and truly, we want to get this Excadrill taken down as fast as possible. That is the biggest threat on this team right now, is this Excadrill, especially in a sand. And here we go. Dynamax Gastrodon back onto the field, making a reappearance for the 3rd time in 3 battles. And here we go. Tyranitar protecting, of course, just playing it safe. Doesn't want to get hit by any kind of major damage. There's the Shadow Snake, Shadow Sneak, not Snake, doing a little bit of damage to that Excadrill. Mind you, that Excadrill is going to go in for the Max Quake and just finish off my Mimikyu. So that is going to be 2 Pokemon down on my team, while our opponent has 3. His Tyranitar and his Excadrill also get a boost in special defense, so that might actually play to their advantage there in a little while as well. In comes the Max Geyser, going to make a direct contact with the Dynamaxed Excadrill, and you know what? That is going to be enough, guys. That is going to finish off that Excadrill, which is awesome. As well, it's also going to take down the Sandstorm, so we don't have to worry about any more chip damage coming in from that Sandstorm either. So we are now both down 2-2. I've got Arcanine. He has his Rotom here. And both players are going to send their last remaining Pokemon out onto the field. So we've got Shiny Arcanine here, staring down Hugo's Rotom. Getting the Intimidate off onto both Pokemon on the opposing party. Lowering the attack stat, of course, so that is definitely going to be beneficial to us against that T-Tar. We do have Snarl on our team. We have Will-O-Wisp. I've decided to go for the Will-O-Wisp onto the T-Tar, and then, of course, do some more damage as well. So let's see what happens here next. Alright, there's the Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp is going to make a direct contact with the Tyranitar. And you know what that's going to do, guys? That is going to lower his attack stat even further from that Intimidate. The Volt Switch coming in, not going to do mass damage or anything like that to any of our Pokemon. Same thing with the Rock Slide. Not really doing much, but you know what? It is going to activate our Citrus Berry here, regaining our health back onto that Arcanine. And in comes our Max Geyser from our Dynamaxed Gastrodon. Going to make contact with that T-Tar, and actually going to do a massive amount of damage as it's super effective. Looks like the Tyranitar does have a weakness policy that is going to boost up some stats there, and Rotom does have some leftovers, so he's eating some leftover Chinese food there, getting a little bit of health back, and Gastrodon as well, also taking part in the leftover challenge of eating leftover Chinese food from the fridge from a week ago. We're going to go in for the attack with the Heat Wave here. We're also going to go in for the Max Geyser to the T-Tar. And hopefully we are going to make contact with that Heat Wave. We want to get some damage off to both those Pokemon. Sorry, I meant to say Snarl, not Heat Wave. But you know what, Snarl, same idea. Basically going to attack those Pokemon, but it is going to drop some special attack powers as well. So that's pretty cool. Rock Slide, of course, making contact with the Arcanine and the Gastrodon. Arcanine staying in with 10 hit points from that critical hit, which is fantastic. And in comes the Max Geyser. The Max Geyser, of course, is going to make a hit to the T-Tar, and that is going to be game. So thank you very much for the battle. GG. If you guys enjoyed the battle there today, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to post your comments in the comments section below. And as always, hope you guys had a fantastic day there today, and take care. Peace.